Here we go. I'm a 41-year-old woman who's never heard of out of body experiences before at all. But earlier this year, when I was still 40, I had a spontaneous out of body experience that really shook me because I didn't know what the heck happened. And the next morning, I was afraid to even tell my family because it felt, so real that I knew I didn't just have a bad dream. Not that it was scary. It wasn't scary at all. Um, and I just decided I'm going to document my journey. Because I ended up randomly, I didn't even search for an answer as to what happened. I brushed it off. It was too weird. I just tried to forget about it. And then I randomly came across a video on YouTube, and I almost didn't even click on it. But the title was something about controlled out-of-body experience through sleep paralysis. I didn't even know what sleep paralysis was. So I almost scrolled past it, but then I was like, wait a second, wait, does this have anything to do with what happened? And then it was an interview with Darius explaining how he does these out of bodies, the process you go through and what you experience. And he explained everything to a T, what happened to me. And so, that I think my life has been changed since I watched that video. Now I'm going down the rabbit hole. Now I'm in the process of trying to have another one on purpose. And I finally did have another one on purpose a couple nights ago. I'm not going to talk about that one today in this video. I'm just going to talk about my spontaneous out-of-body experience. We were on vacation in Japan. I was with my husband and my daughter. So our family's in a hotel room. They've just both been asleep for seemingly forever, and I'm still laying there trying to fall asleep. So this is going to explain why all of the circumstances happened to line up perfectly for this to happen. Okay, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't do it on purpose. It's just that all the stars were aligned. So maybe because of the time difference, I just could not fall asleep. And in this hotel room, there were 2 twin beds for the 3 of us. We have a 10-year-old daughter. So she's on one bed by herself, and me and my husband are crammed on the other one. I don't know why I didn't just sleep with her. I would have had more room, but she kind of starfishes. So they're asleep for like hours. And I'm like, okay, I have to sleep. We have a busy day. I don't want to be tired. So I made myself hold still. Like, you're not allowed to wiggle a toe. You're going to hold still until you fall asleep. So I did that long enough to where I ended up going into sleep paralysis, which never happens to me. But sleep paralysis is where your body falls asleep and you're still conscious to feel it. And your heart slows down. And I was feeling my heart slow down. And I'm like, wow, what is wrong with me? I can feel like my heart is kind of stopping. And then I could feel that I couldn't move my body and it was hard to breathe. And it was all a little alarming to me, but I was like, you know what? I'm just go to sleep. You're just so tired. That's what's the matter with you, I guess. And I stayed calm because, remind you, we are in Japan. We are in Kyoto. There are onsens everywhere. And that was kind of like the mission of our trip, was to visit onsens. And we were in this hotel. I think it was called the Rumi Hotel in Kyoto. They have an onsen, a natural onsen, but it's on the roof. So they somehow pump the natural hot spring up to the roof, which is really cool. So you have like you're in the open air on the roof, you're in the natural hot spring. So I'm relaxed physically. And I actually read somewhere, it's now that, months later, this was in May of 2025. I'm recording this in December. I'm trying to learn everything I can. And I saw somewhere that one of the ways to help you prepare for an out of body experience that you're doing on purpose, among many things, is to take a bath before you go to bed. I always do that. But I mean, I was just in the onsen, which is like the best bath ever. Okay. So there's that aspect as well. I feel my heart slowing down. And then I start hearing these cracking noises in the hotel. It felt like someone was like banging pipes in the walls and just making all this ruckus. And I'm like, what? That is so not like Japan. They are very quiet, considerate in their culture. No one would be doing that in the hotel room, and especially in the middle of the night. Well, turns out if you're new to this whole thing, that's something to be expected when you are breaking out into the out of body experience. You're going to hear these things, but it was in my head, but it seemed so loud and I didn't realize, I didn't know what was happening. So I thought that was just happening in the room. It wasn't waking them up. I'm ignoring it. I'm staying calm. And then I start feeling wind blowing on my face. And I'm still staying calm, but I'm like, that's really weird. Where's this wind coming from? Just go to sleep, I'm telling myself. And then the floating sensation, which normally would have freaked me out. I remember feeling this before as a kid. And instead of having my freaked out reaction like I would have in the past, I stayed calm for some reason. I was just like, you know what? Maybe this is just a part of going to sleep, and I'm going to stay calm and ignore it and go through it and experience it. And that's another aspect that led to this successful, spontaneous out-of-body experience. I went with the flow. I didn't give in to freaking out. And I continued to feel this floating sensation for a while until I felt, what would be a while? A minute? That can be a long time of feeling like you're floating. And then, I'm just telling myself, just go to sleep. And I start to feel like my face is bumping into something. This is where it gets good. I continue to feel this light tap on my face, and I'm really feeling it. So I decide to open my eyes and look. And this was where I was for the first time, like a little hesitant, a little almost giving into fear, but then I didn't. Just open your eyes. I do, and I see the ceiling in front of my face, right there. Right there. I see it. And it has that bumpy texture. I reach up and feel it, and I can feel the bumpy texture. 100% feel it. I am in front of the ceiling. It feels like I'm physically in front of the ceiling. Weird. Did the ceiling come down to me? No, I'm up on the ceiling. So I turn around to see how high up I am. And Japan, I know, is known for small rooms. This room was small, narrow, but it happened to have really high ceilings, higher than my ceilings in my house, at least twice as high. It was a strange layout. So I turn around and I see my daughter in the bed. I look over and see my husband. And I'm like, what is going on? Did I die? And I'm still like calm, but I'm thinking like, wait a second. No, I really shouldn't. They need me. Like I feel fine, but they need me. I shouldn't die, probably. So then I look for my body. For some reason, I wasn't really seeing it. And then I saw, whoa, there is a lump under the blanket where I was laying. I'm right there. And that's when I ended up back in my body, when I focused in on myself. And I don't know how I stayed calm in all of this. I just was like, okay, I'm back in my body. I'm going to go to sleep. But I was still not attached to myself. And I rolled out onto the floor with a thump. I heard it. I felt it. I was like, whoa, I'm on the ground, not this again. And as I'm like on all fours. I was like afraid to look up and look at myself. I kind of peeked over and saw my daughter, and it was just freaking me out because I knew that my own face was like right here on the bed. And I noticed that right in front of me, where there was the closet covered in a big mirror, just black, pitch black right there. Like that part of the room was gone and it was a black void. I didn't like that. I didn't know what that was. So I didn't go near that. I could also at this point sense that there was someone sitting just casually, leaving me alone on the couch over there behind me in the living room part of this hotel room. Knowing what I know now after learning all about the wonderful amazingness of these opportunities, I would not be afraid of addressing that person. But at the time, I didn't want to have anything to do with that. So I didn't look at who it was, and they left me alone. They were being very polite. They just stayed over there quietly. I immediately was just like, nope, I'm not having this. And and in that thought, I was back in my body. And at that point, I made myself breathe. It was very hard to get myself out of the sleep paralysis, but I just focused on my breath and my heart until things started kind of picking up again. And I was back. So, yeah, that was so strange. And like I said, I shook it off. And it wasn't until like September when I found that random interview with Darius. And he went through and explained, I'll link to it below. So if you want to go down this journey with me and you want to see the video that led me to where I am now, I'll link it. I'll go find it. He explains the process of going into sleep paralysis and what to expect. He says that your heart will slow down. He says that you'll hear things when it's kind of like changing a radio station, or, it could be like different sounds, but you can hear sounds. And I definitely heard sounds. He said some people will feel wind. It's like, check, check, check. And that it's extremely physical, if not more physical than your flesh body. And it totally was. And that's why I was so shook by it, because this happened. And it was a huge relief and blessing to hear someone explain what happened to me was real, and that it's a good thing, and that he uses this often in his life to explore the heavenly realms of this construct, as he describes it. And it's not just him. It's all of the testimonies of people who also are doing it and experiencing the same thing. It's this book that I found at the library. Oh, shoot. I should turn off my blurry background. It's by Robert A. Monroe, called Journeys Outside of the Body. I just finished that one, and this was published in 1971, I think, and it's about 20 years of experience of him doing out of body, and he even went under some scientific research where they would like monitor his brainwaves while he did it. And so like he just documents it all. So it's just fascinating. And then it's just so many other people. Like if you really want to like hear more perspectives to get a grasp on the fact that this is real, it's out there. So I hope like that if this just like helps one person on their journey, then it's worth it. And I like being a part of community, and I don't know anyone else personally in my personal life that has experienced this other than my mom, who has had a near-death experience when she was a child. And so she believes me 100%, because it's extremely similar. But I mean, I'm just hoping that this channel will find more like-minded people that I can chat with about. So leave me a comment, I would love it. It's also separate from my channel that my friends and family know about, because I don't need this getting mixed in with my professional life. If someone I know happens to find it, it's probably because they were looking for it. And so in that case, it's okay. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see what my notes say that else. Oh, okay. Yeah. Another interesting thing that helped this spontaneous OBE to happen was the fact that I was abstaining from weed for an entire month to get ready for my first ayahuasca ceremony. And I was smoking weed every night of my life. Like I love that. That's my favorite vice. But I gave it up to experience this ayahuasca ceremony that was 2 weeks after my spontaneous OBE. And when I finally got to the ceremony, he doesn't like to call himself a shaman, but I don't know what else to call him. He sits down with everybody and asks them, okay, what is your intent for being here? And I'm like, oh, this and that. And I really want to activate my spiritual gifts. And he's like, I don't know if we do that here. I'm more of like a doctor where I go in and see what's wrong and help heal you in that way. But it was interesting because this out-of-body experience that happened to me just 2 weeks prior was more of something that activated spiritual gifts. And I'll go into that more in my next videos. But it's just super interesting how that all played out. But I know that, so they ask you to not smoke weed for up to a month prior to the ayahuasca ceremony because it can interfere with that plant medicine, like make it not work. And I've looked into this more because I think that it affects the out-of-body experience too, because I shouldn't talk about this too much because I don't know too clearly, but I did do like a quick little search in ChatGPT about how marijuana affects the pineal gland, the third eye. And it does, like, how they say you don't dream as much when you smoke weed. That's why it's affecting your pineal gland. And I think that the pineal gland plays a big role in the out-of-body experience. So, yeah, that was another thing where the stars were aligned. I was just so clear. And, yeah. So now that I am trying to do the out-of-bodies on purpose, I'm having to give up that little vice of mine. And you know what? The desire for it has completely gone away in wanting to do this. So that's cool. I'll go into that more later too. Please subscribe if you want to follow along with this journey. My next video is going to be on what was blocking me from being able to do this again on purpose, and how I got rid of those blocks and instantly was able to do it again. I'm going to talk about what that next out of body experience was like and why I want to do it on purpose, how I got over my fears. I'm not afraid. Like I was afraid was the unknown, and I had a fear of the dark. So I had to find what my specific fears were blocking me. And it's different for a lot of people. I think some people are afraid of dying, but that wasn't an issue for me. I know I'm not dying. And I know, like, I watched every testimony I could possibly find on the internet. I know people aren't dying and they're coming back. So I had to really face what it was that was blocking me. And I'm going to share how I got rid of it. And it's so awesome. And I'm going to go into why. What's the purpose? That's a big one, and it's important. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Press like and subscribe so that I know that I am not talking to myself. Thank you. Bye.